Hello, beautiful Pisces people. Welcome to my channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. This will be a general tarot message for the Pisces gang, Pisces Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Although apparently Scorpio wants to be heard and seen in your reading. Do you have a Scorpio butting into your life right now? All right, anyway. What up, Pisces? Anyone, of course, is welcome in this reading. I just ask you come in with an open heart, an open mind, a desire to better yourself. Be exposed to some new information, some new insight that'll help you live your best life. Ideally, that's what I'm looking to do on my channel. Of course, sometimes messages may come through that don't resonate with you. I encourage you to check back in the future. Some messages may not resonate at this point in time, but may make sense later on. And again, sometimes the messages just simply won't be for you this week. That is how it works in tarot. So you are accountable and responsible for all your own action decisions. So I highly encourage you to take away what resonates and push aside the rest, okay? Let's get some high vibe messages for those Pisces people out there. Pisces. All right, let's see. Those came out together. So the King of Swords. There's a Cancer has a very important message for you. There's a Cancerian. It could be a mother figure. It could be someone traveling to see you, someone who lives at quite a distance, and they have an offer you can't refuse. What is that from? Is that from The Godfather? Why don't I know that? That's going to drive me nuts. Making him offer he can't refuse, whatever. It doesn't matter. This could be about a contract or a negotiation, especially if you work in the travel industry or if you are applying to a job that it's at a distance from you. I just don't mean like, a half-hour commute. You may have to move states or even move your, what do you call that? Like move territories to go take this job. Others of you, there could be a Cancer who's wanting to express their love to you, but they've been very very off about it. It's almost like it's been a big secret, and all of a sudden there's some sort of turning point where they're like, I love you and I don't care who knows it. There's something very open about this energy. Sometimes the Chariot can be sort of this very serious masculine energy, going to war. Here it's just like, I'm here and I've missed you and I love you. Again, some of you maybe you're connecting with a mother figure who maybe you had a bit of a quarrel or a relationship that was feeling like you were at war. Sometimes someone is letting their guard down and it's like they're open to negotiation, they're open to having the conversation, and for some of you this person comes in with this almost transformation. I'm hearing transformative attitude. There's that Scorpio word, transformative. Maybe something to do with the eclipse. I don't know. This person comes in almost transformed or as a new person. I don't know what else to say here. All right, let's look at this. So, Six of Cups. All right, so again, something from your past. It is shown, I'm seeing it as mother and child. But again, it could be some sort of family connection. Cancerian energy is very tied to the home, where in order to establish peace in a family dynamic, somebody needed to leave home. Somebody needed to go off and get new perspective to sort of become a version of themselves away from the influence of a family in order for you guys to come back together and break bread. And what it is learning to accept each other's differences. That's very important here. So then we have you showing up, which is a very unusual depiction of the moon. So this is Piscean energy. Some of you were trying too hard to live up to the illusion of the standards of the ideal, the perfect family, sort of the, leave it to Beaver. Oh, golly gee, mom. Like that kind of like, I don't know. I don't mean to burst anyone's bubble, but generally speaking, that doesn't exist. Everybody is this combination of good and bad and light and dark. And what I mean by that is we all have our flaws. No one is perfect. So some of you grew up comparing yourselves to others, feeling sort of embarrassed or ashamed that you didn't have this perfect, picture-perfect, ideal family. It could be that someone in your family really struggled with addiction issues, addiction to food, addiction to drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever it is. There's this, I guess you could use the word peace offering, but really it has to do with nurturing yourself and understanding and being very compassionate and understanding that everyone really is just trying to figure out who they are in the world. So whether you are the parent or the child, I would say especially if you are the child, Pisces, you may look at a parent and have a lot of, I don't know if it's resentment, but again, an awkward dynamic or relationship with, and wishing so much it could be different. Part of this too, it might be you understanding that, I'm going to love them despite their flaws. I'm going to open my arms and make them feel welcome and warm, even though I don't always agree with, what they believe in, maybe whatever. It could even be politics, right? People operating from different perspectives doesn't mean anyone doesn't Doesn't mean people need to be excluded. I think with that, drawing healthy boundaries and understanding what is appropriate in terms of what we're going to talk about when we're together versus topics that maybe we shouldn't get into because we're just not going to see eye to eye. But it doesn't have to be a war with this person if you don't want it to be. And it also doesn't have to be this internal war within you of why am I not good enough, or why don't I measure up, or why do they act like this, why do they treat me or my partner like this. There's something sort of settling differences, and I really just want to say compassionately meeting people where they're at. And it's not about justifying their behavior if they were a shitty father or a shitty person or whatever. It's understanding that maybe they were only doing it the way they knew how. Maybe they didn't have a foundation in which they learned to appreciate differences, where they learned to appreciate human individuality and uniqueness. Maybe they grew up in this, mold, a very Saturnian energy of this is how you do it and you have to struggle and you don't get favors in life. Very kind of like hardcore, nose to the grindstone, but very much lacking in compassion or emotion or empathy, anything of that. So you may have grown up in a household where you weren't shown that. And I think a lot of you took it on as a personal responsibility of what am I not doing right? Why doesn't this person love me? And again, in time, when you journey away from the family, when you separate yourself from that energy and you go off out into the world, you find people who share similar beliefs and ideas and possibly have a similar narrative or upbringing where they felt the same way you did. And it actually forges this incredible bond of, again, understanding and compassion. And so rather than using your upbringing or whatever this is, it could be with a best friend, a coworker, doesn't matter. Rather than using that negative experience as something that you have to shoulder the burden of and continue to sort of be the martyr or the victim, you're actually, again, transforming it. There's that Scorpio word again, into something negative that you went through. You are drawing a line in the sand, so to say, so that moving forward, that pattern or that cycle of behavior, whatever family dynamic doesn't continue on in your bloodline. It's like you're going out into the world and changing the perception around sensitivity or changing the perception around sexuality or gender equality or whatever it is, because it is such a beautiful Pisces. Oh, this feels so Pisces. I love it. I feel like I'm getting a big hug from the energy I'm tapping into. You are all about inclusivity and not making people feel like the alien or the outsider, or really celebrating what makes people unique or things that once made them feel like the outsider. That's almost like a commonality within this group. A lot of you may have a strong Aquarian element in your chart too. Maybe you have a Venus in Aquarius or something like that, a moon, something like that. There's an inclusivity of people who in their childhood or in a previous chapter in their life felt like they were on the fringes, they were on the outside, they were not included. And I will say too, because I'm not looking to make anyone a monster here, even, if this was a emotionally abusive or verbally abusive parent, whatever it is, I'm not making them out to be a monster, because at the end of the day, you're not either. You're choosing to view this through a lens where you can move on and not feel like a victim and not feel like you have to hold a grudge or anything. Maybe some of you have a strong Scorpio in your chart, and so it's been sort of this deep-seated revenge. It doesn't serve a purpose. You're choosing to love them despite this quality that you see as a shadow side quality. And I know this is hard to hear because it's not going to make sense to all of you right now, but a lot of you are sort of going to do a 180 and the reasons that maybe you used to hate this person or this person used to make you cry, you see them maybe still acting or leaning into that behavior. Maybe it's improved a little bit, right? For some of you, it has changed. Others of you, it's how you approach this person has changed. And when they do sort of what used to trigger you, you choose to almost like send them good vibes, because it's all you can do. You can't change this person, and that's a very difficult lesson in life, right? Again, that idealization of, oh, well, if I come with my, pureness of heart and wanting to love, and maybe they'll have this conversation and meet me in the middle. Some of them will. Others of them, it's just they're stuck in their old ways. But the thing is, that's the key. It is the old way. There's sort of like this dawning of a new day, and you may be a trailblazer for inclusivity or whatever this is on some small level. You're wow, okay. There's almost like a message here if you're choosing to forgive someone who may have never even felt sorry, and that is pretty badass. Yeah, just sit with that for a minute. Because when you start hearing that and it makes you cringe, that's your ego feeding in, right? Well, I have to let go of this thing that did so much damage to me. Yeah, but it's going to feel so good when you do. And again, I really want to underscore it. It's not about justifying what was done to you. It's justifying how you can move on and not have this be like a shackle around your leg, or you know, a burden that holds you back or always makes you feel less than. You are transforming your perspective on the matter and what you went through. And this may be offering compassion to yourself too, understanding that as a child, you didn't know any better than to take it personally that this person was, you know, really demanding or really cruel. So you started to take it on as, oh my gosh, well, why am I like this? And why don't my, you know, whatever it is, that's not the story anymore. It's almost like I almost see this as King Kong, terribly misunderstood, right? When you take the I don't know, beast out of the jungle. There's almost like this weird like crucifixion type thing, which again is this really cool like Pisces metaphor. I'm kind of grasping at it, but I hope you guys get what I mean. Yeah, when you take it out of its natural environment, there's something unique and different, and people may try and make a spectacle out of it, or I don't know, but there's something about getting out of, yes, your mindset, but getting out of a pattern of behavior, getting out of a hostile environment that is, I'm almost wanting to say mentally abusive, someone who told you were dumb or never good enough. You're coming through and like you're busting down the walls of things that were keeping you stuck. This self-made prison or something you feel like was imposed upon you. You're busting out, like you can't be contained, and that is so Jupiterian, right? Jupiter doesn't know limits; it just wants to expand and include everything in this really like beautiful, you know, we're all God's children type of way. So yeah, you're busting free of the illusion of what you thought something was going to be versus what it actually is, and it has nothing to do with resentment of shoulda, coulda, woulda. Why didn't I have this childhood? Why didn't this person treat me better? Ultimately, it's about finally having that vantage point, that ability to see through the bullshit, to get past sort of that foggy Neptunian energy, which is very much associated with Pisces too, of wanting to see the best in everyone and you know, catering to other people's needs and you know, forgiving easily. Yes, absolutely, but with that, making definitive and clearly defined choices of who you're going to share your energy with versus people who, it's not that you have to, you know, that's the irony is that this person has become an outcast when they're the one who made you feel like that. But it's not about forcing them to play the role of the outcast or the outsider. It's about setting different limits with how you interact with them and catering your expectations of what you're going to get from them. It's a very difficult lesson, and this is not just for Pisces, by the way, for all the zodiac signs, when you realize that seeking love from a parent, it seems like it should be a given. You know, it's that Leave It to Beaver type, you know, mom and dad love each other and they love me. Very rarely, right? Everybody has family drama they're coming from. So this is a very important lesson in understanding it's not wrong to seek and desire those emotions and compassion and real authentic connections. You need to be choosy with who you're wanting and asking and expecting it from. Because some of you are being told by the universe, I get that this is your father, I get that this is your mother. They're not going to be able to fill that void that you had of validation and love and approval. It would be great. It would be great if they did a 180 and came through, but you can't expect that. So first and foremost, you need to love yourself. You need to fill that void yourself, but then you need to go out into the world, you know, leave the comfort zone, leave the home, leave the familiarity, leave the environment, and seek out new people, new romantic connections, new friends, new coworkers that actually treat you in a different way, because again, they share a similar experience of feeling awkward. And this is really beautiful. It's making me think of the movie The Outsiders, right? People who are from like the wrong side of the tracks or the, you know, had a difficult upbringing, they come together and they form this really powerful group and team. It could even be sort of like I'm just getting the idea of like a prayer group, or it could even be Alcoholics Anonymous or something where there's a similar plight, but you guys come together and really love and support each other in a way that some people didn't have growing up. And this could be you just simply liberating yourself from, again, the mental abuse or feeling like the world has to be viewed through a very narrow lens. Like, you know, this is that and this is that, or black is black and white is white. And I don't know, someone who has a very old school mentality of viewing things, you are free from that. And it feels so good. You're coming into the world with open arms, ready to embrace people who want to embrace you back, who treat you with respect. Let's see. So I strayed from my first message here. That to me seems to be the most powerful one that wants to come through. Seeing through the illusion of what is supposed to be versus what actually is. Live in the now. Appreciate what you have in your life now, and make very conscious choices of what you are seeking to manifest in the future. And first and foremost, relationships that respect you in any area of life. So yes, there's a Cancer coming in with a very important message. They want to break bread with you. There's a very strong sexual connection to this. It may also be an Aquarius who's going to travel to go see you. You may be introducing this person to the family for the first time. There may be a connection to something about an older sister. So for my Pisces who have an older sister, I don't know if there's some sort of beneficial connection that comes through the link of an older sister. It could be if you're looking for a job, it could be a romantic prospect, a friend of your sister or something like that. There's something about a big sister that comes through and they offer you a gift. Some of you may be reconciling an awkward sibling dynamic too, again, choosing to love them despite their flaws, and you sort of putting yourself out on a limb and demonstrating this compassion without stipulation or what is the word? You're not expecting anything back from it. You're just loving them because that's how you know how to do it. Because you understand that at the end of the day, we're all going to die, and you'd rather go to your grave knowing that you treated people with compassion and respect than feeding into like the bullshit of these head games or whatever. What is the word? It's like loving, not without limits. It has to do with without negotiation, without a tit for tat type mentality. There's a word for that. I hope you know what I mean. And something about that is transformational in this relationship, because there's something about you demonstrating it, you just doing it and showing other people how it's done. They're sort of blown away by it. It catches them off guard. They're almost confused by it. And so they may act a little bit suspicious at first. Like, what is in this for you? I don't get it. Why are you being so... It's weird. It's like, why are you being so nice? Because you're kicking ass out in the world because you found your soul tribe. You found your family that you've chosen, right? Your friends, your coworkers, your lover, whatever. And so you're coming back into this dynamic, a changed person, and operating in a new way where you're not sinking down to their level, or you're refusing to be the victim of this sort of like... I use the word abuse loosely, right? I would never advocate going back to someone, even a family member who was like physically abusive, sexually abusive, all that stuff, right? However, I will say that narrative does carry over in terms of making it okay for yourself so that it doesn't become a prison sentence that you have to serve for the rest of your life. There's almost like, this is almost like the key to unlock the jail cell where you're liberated, you're free from the bullshit you grew up in, because ultimately, for most of you, you didn't necessarily choose to have this happen to you. Something happened to you, again, in your youth, in your childhood, or you were just operating at a more naive perspective. You were out in the world for the first time and you didn't know. You had to learn the hard way. Some of you learned a very hard lesson about loving yourself more or respecting yourself more, because ultimately how you demonstrate your own self-love makes everybody else aware of how much they should respect and love you. So that's what I mean. You're coming through with so much love in your heart. It's almost overwhelming. It's actually getting me kind of emotional, Pisces. Oh, I'm giving you all a big hug. Let's do a couple more cards. Let's do this one. Yeah, that's the irony here, is someone who made you feel like you were the outsider and on the outskirts in time, and I mean like maybe 10, 20 years, they've ended up isolating themselves because of this negative, pessimistic attitude or this almost like drill sergeant mentality. They've completely casted themselves in the corner, and that's what's so badass about this is this person almost knows that you don't respect their authority, and yet you choose to make this gesture. And maybe for some of you it's just calling them on Christmas, or writing them a letter in the mail wishing them well. Like, it could be something like that. And so it's like it's the last thing they expect from you, because you've always had this very turbulent, unhealthy power dynamic. And I want to be clear, it's not that you're going back to them because you need their validation. You're going back to almost in a cheeky way to let them know, I never needed your validation. And I realize it because I'm all the validation I need. Pisces, you are like a superhero in this. I absolutely love it. You're not holding a grudge. There's no revenge story here. It's a celebration of yourself and finally feeling like you found yourself in the world. Yeah, there we go. There's that Scorpio energy. When I started your reading, I said Scorpio and I didn't know why. Scorpio is the transformer of the zodiac. allowing things to die off so that they can be reborn again in a transformed way. This is about you. This is about your identity. This is about letting your freak flag fly, because when you do, you're going to see all the other people flying that flag out there and you're like, oh my God, I found my people. Celebrate what makes you unique and different. Don't feel like you have to hide it to fit in. This was almost like I'm going to be honest, I'm getting like shadow side, almost not demonic, that doesn't feel right, but a very dark energy and presence in your life that served a purpose for you to find light within yourself and then shine it out in the world onto others so that they don't feel so alone. It's possible some of you, in fact, you have all the water signs coming through here. And no, it's funny how I put them in a trine. There's a connection of water signs here. So finding people who really appreciate empathy and compassion, sympathy, emotionally relating to others, loving, being sensitive, that type of thing. And to be clear, it could be any zodiac sign, but I would say someone who has a lot of water in their chart: Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. Yeah, justice is found. Or the scales weigh in your favor. And oh gosh, with the dove and peace, there you found inner peace. Something that was unfair or felt like it was fated, but again, you had no say in it. Trust that the universe sees this. They know that you were given one hell of a challenge to overcome, but the thing is, you guys do. It's not about having to suffer. It's really about recognizing where you're suffering or from whom you feel like you are suffering because of, and liberating yourself from it on your own accord. Not needing this person's permission to leave, or do you understand what I mean? It's doing it for yourself and trusting that your heart knows what's best for you. Forgiving yourself for past mistakes or wherever you feel shamed or guilty about. It's like you're coming through. I keep seeing this as King Kong. It's like that ape beating on his chest. It's like a real power player move, but it's like, you can't keep me contained. I'm not, I'm not your little pet. I'm not King Kong that you bring to America and you put on display for entertainment value. Like I'm a human being. Like, I don't want to do this. And it's like, you can't hold me hostage anymore. I'm free. And you find your tribe that way. Justice, equality, peace, balance, finding inner peace. And that's the key, is once you find inner peace, this thing that used to be a monster, it doesn't bother you anymore because it can't touch you. Your vibe is so light, your vibe is so high that you're good. You're good whether this person is in your life or not. It doesn't ruffle your feathers anymore, and you don't fall prey or victim to this anymore. It made you aware in a very transformational kind of enlightening, I would even say life-changing, shocking, epiphany type of way. All right, let's give you some of these, and we'll wrap it up. Oh, I got to give you an oracle card, too. I forgot. These are just keywords to help you through. Anything else? Give you three. There we go. Oh, okay. Determination. Don't be afraid of the rising tide. It will soon recede. Ambition. Set your sights beyond the horizon. Flow, let your worries drift away. And generosity, what good is treasure if you keep it for yourself? All right. And then I've been explaining, I did these, this is Marcella Krall's Sacred Symbols Oracle deck. It's really awesome. And I did it for all the signs last week except the water signs, simply because I forgot, because you guys were first up and I didn't realize that this deck had fallen behind. So anyway, long story short, you're getting it this week. All right, trust, card number 16. Let's see. I'm going to read it right out of the book. This was a powerful reading. I hope some of you really resonated with this. All right, trust. Step into the unknown. All may not be revealed at this time. Trust in unforeseen forces. Meditate on this to let go of attachments or possibilities, to free yourself from your dharma and increase your trust in your guides and the universe. The symbol is the void, inspired by, quote, the nothing in the movie, The Never-Ending Story. Interesting. Atreyu. That makes sense. It's like a journey of the self, finding the hero within. And then I'm kind of curious about this. I'm going to go ahead and read it. It was the bottom of the deck, 14. The nothing, the never-ending story. Let's see. Past life. Ooh, this is a long one. You are being drawn to sacred spaces, ancient knowledge, past lives, ancient wisdom, and holy gifts. The connection to your current relationship or situation has deep roots and is perhaps much more than you may have anticipated. Dive into ancient wisdom for your answers at this time. Drawing this card can indicate past life connections, karmic contracts, vows, commitments, or even feelings of atonement. Interesting. Draw another card if additional clarity or for direction in how to proceed is required. You can meditate with the pyramid to access ancient magic, create sacred space, welcome an informative galactic download from the universe, and encourage ascension for your mind, body, and spirit. And then, so the symbol is the pyramid. Pyramids are sacred sites, holy places, and vortexes for magic, healing, and the afterlife. Many wise and advanced ancient cultures constructed these mysterious monuments during their existence. Ooh, that felt Piscean. All right, guys, let me know what you think of this in the comments below. This seems incredibly personal, so I understand it might not reach all of you, but give it time. Again, meditate on this. Maybe something will come through. And maybe this is another connection in your life, like perhaps because this had a lot to do with sort of karmic connections, you may be meeting someone who brings this sort of past with them, and again, they're not out to be the victim. It's just all the more reason to love this person with compassion because they've been through it and back. But that's what I mean. They've come out on the other side transformed. Within a dark space, they found their inner light, and now they're shining it for other people to find them. I'm almost seeing this as oh my goodness, like, I know this is gonna sound cuckoo bananas, but the idea when you're driving at night and there's like those vacancy signs. What Death Cab for Cutie? There's a song, illuminate the nose on their vacancy signs. I don't know what that's about, but it's about finding people when you're lost in the dark that follow the signs. They're illuminating you to find shelter from the storm. They're illuminating you to find family on the road. I love that. The idea of moving away from your hometown, your home territory, what is familiar. Follow the lights that are guiding you. Yes, it's divinely guided, but it's helping you find your people out in the world because you all have this light within you. And it's almost like when you come together, it's brighter. Whew, Pisces, this is incredible. I love this reading. Thanks for joining me here today, guys. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye, Pisces.